watching Digging Deeper. I am your host, Tazeen, and we are live every Tuesday at 7. We're in season 2 right now, and we actually only have one episode left. So you're the second to last.
Oh, man.
Of season 2. I can't believe that I've gotten this far. 14 episodes season 1 and 12 episodes season 2.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite exciting.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about transitions, and with me I have Misty Lyn Bergeron. Did I say it right?
It's pretty close. Yeah. You're like trying too hard, I think.
I want to like sound French
yes,
now.
It's great.
Now that you said it,
I
I'm like,
that.
oh, let me just be fancy.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, and you are a really talented artist, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to invite you. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about who you are and what your expression is.
I can do that. I'll start off by saying that whenever somebody asks me to talk about myself, I get instantly nervous. It's like this weird, I feel okay right now actually, which is nice, but it's so bizarre. I'll forget everything about I ever did, what my name is, it's really bizarre. It'll happen
It's like
to me
the opposite, because normally you interview people.
That's it, and that's where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even like classroom settings, when they do the icebreaker, I'm just like, I just want to tear my skin off.
As a student, I hate icebreakers, but as a teacher, I love them.
Oh, I bet.
So much.
That's because it helps you as a teacher.
It does, but they hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
so
always
uncomfortable.
They're like, I don't want to tell you something, because I like to ask my students, oh, tell me something, tell me your name, your program, but something interesting about yourself or something, unique about you.
Mm-hmm. That's when I forget.
And they're just like, there's nothing.
That's how I feel.
There's nothing unique about me. And I'm like, no, guys, there's something special about every single one of you. And they're like, no, I like to sleep.
Yeah. Yes, you hear a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yep. I like to read, sleep, play with my cat.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But there's so much more to you.
It's true. So let me try to remember some of it. I am a musician.
Mm-hmm.
I sing in 2 bands. I am the songwriter, singer, guitar player, everything for Misty Lyn and the Big Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I also sing with Matt Jones in the Reconstruction. I am a photographer. Mm-hmm. I am the resident photographer for the River Street Anthology, which is how I met you. Mm-hmm. It's a music preservation project in Michigan, started by Matt Jones, and supported by the Michigan Archives. Yeah. It is. It's amazing. It's a blessing to be a part of that. And then I also am doing my own project this year called the 52 Portrait Project, which Tazeen is also a part of. Yeah. And that focuses on inspiring women, and we actually dig deeper, as it were, and I try to figure out what makes, it's all people who are recommended by others as inspiring, and I like to get down to how you live day to day that helps you be inspiring in the world, and not so much what you're doing in the world. Yeah. Although that's interesting too. We cover that too. But so we talk about spirituality, ritual, anxiety, depression, maybe how you got through it, and we talk about devotion and community. It's just been so awesome. Yeah. That's my labor of love right now as a photographer. I'm also a seeker, and so that kind of goes with all of this,
That's such a great term to use. Someone asked me in college once, describe yourself, and I said seeker. That was the word.
Oh, you knew that in college.
Late years.
Yeah.
I got
it took me so long to even know that word. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what it is. I feel like as artists, we are constantly seeking something. Mm-hmm. And to be an artist is really to be a witness and to be observant of the world around you. And you have to constantly be seeking and looking for signs and looking for things that inspire you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's almost subconscious, too. It's not necessarily that I go out intentionally seeking. Yeah. I just kind of am seeking all the time. I am naturally an observer. I guess if I had to describe myself, it would be like an introverted, anxious empath. And so, seeking, being an observer is way more comfortable for me than, being an extroverted.
Yeah. So listening more than talking.
Exactly.
But I just flipped the script on you.
I know. Here we are.
Welcome to everyone who's here. So how'd you get into playing guitar and singing?
I'm actually a late bloomer. I got my first guitar in my super senior year at Michigan State University. So I was like, I don't know, what is that, 22? Mm-hmm. And I've always felt like drawn to it. Like even in high school, I felt like something was missing, and I would watch people perform, and I felt more like, instead of enjoying a performance, I would be like, I want to be there, but I didn't know how to get there because I was in choir, but I didn't play guitar, I didn't write. My family wasn't musical. Yeah. So I just always felt like this angst because I loved music so much, And then I finally got a guitar. I can't remember I think I just discovered music. Somebody came into my life that shared so much music that I didn't know about.
And you were like,
yes. And it made me go, okay, I have to know how to play this music. Yeah. And then through that, I started to write my own songs and got on stage for the first time when I was 25. Yeah, and it's been really an amazing journey. I've been so supported from the beginning by the Ann Arbor community. I started volunteering at the Arc, and my first time on stage was at their open mic night.
Really?
Yeah. But then, like 4 years later, I played the folk festival at Hill Auditorium in front of 4,000 people. So my journey has been like compact and really, like when I think about it, it just blows my mind. How blessed I am.
Isn't that crazy how that happens?
Really, it's like the universe going, this, yes,
It really is. Mm-hmm. I remember the first time I performed was also around that age. I was 24. 24, maybe.
Really? I didn't know
between
that.
24 and 25, I think, because I had my first guitar when I was in high school, but I didn't start actively learning until my 20s. And I remember the first open mic I went to at the Bean in Plymouth.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That was on my radar back then.
And it was like the spot to go to on Monday nights. And I just remember playing this song. It was a 6-minute long song.
Oh, wow.
And it was just 2 verses just repeated.
Oh, I love it.
But it was such an emotional song for me. And what was really amazing is how supportive people are in spaces like that and encouraging. Because I was really nervous and I messed up a bunch of times, but there were people who came up to me afterwards and said, you should really keep going. Like, I really saw something.
Doesn't that help so much? Mm-hmm. One person, if you ever feel like you want to tell somebody something after they do some kind of performance, tell them.
Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
It's going to help.
And tell them and be specific.
Yes.
Like, be really specific. Like, I really liked that line, or I really like those chords, or I like the way you sang this word. Like, I feel like when people tell me those specific things, it makes me feel like, wow, you're actually listening to it. There's like an actual exchange between us going on. Mm-hmm. It's quite amazing.
It really is. Yeah. That environment is what kept me going in the beginning, that encouragement. I'm still friends with a few of the people that, like the elders in the community that came up to me when I was like, oh God, I still struggle with thinking I'm not good enough, but like when you're there, when your first couple times, but the people that came up after and said, you got to keep going. I remember them, and they're still around.
The elders are the best part of that.
It really is. Yes.
When you had posted that you were going to be here today, Mike Gentry had liked it, and I realized know him, and I used to go to his open mics at Brood Awakenings.
Okay.
So the Bean was my first open mic, and then Brood Awakenings was like my regular open mic that I used to go to.
That's wonderful.
And
he's wonderful.
He was just so encouraging every single time. And it's just so funny now that, like Ismail and I will run into him randomly, and he'll be like, it's so cool, like all these things that you're doing. Because he remembers, like, however 5 years ago, 6 years ago, what we were doing.
Yes. Hi, Mike, if you're out there. Congrats on, didn't he just put a record out?
Yeah, he did.
Congrats.
Yeah. So that's like, did you feel like you had that sense of community then in Ann Arbor?
That's where it started for me. And honestly, that's what taught me what community is. Like, I didn't know what that word meant until I started playing music at the Arc specifically. It means feeling completely supported and able to be myself. That's the main thing, because I'm very much like, I can't fake it.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
If I'm, if I'm not, I can't hide things. And I find that community to me means these people see all the sides of me.
Yeah.
They see, the not so good songs. They see the not so good performances. They see the great ones.
Yeah.
And they're there through it all and encouraging me through it all.
Yeah.
And reminding me I don't have to be perfect.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an important distinction to make too, because creating art and sharing art shouldn't be just about putting out a really great performance. I feel like,
God, I hope it's not.
Because
I gotta be honest.
Yeah, if it is, then it's like, well, is it genuine at that point? Are you creating to please others? Are you creating because you care about what others think? Or are you just wanting to share something that was within you and you just felt compelled to write it? Felt compelled to write a song, felt compelled to,
That's a great point. I find that it took me a long time to understand that for myself because I was a late bloomer. I was really hard on myself about not being as advanced as a lot of people are, just like factually, technically not as advanced.
Yeah.
So I'd be hard on myself about it. And the more I grew spiritually, the more I understood that if I'm focusing on something bigger than myself, that what I have is enough and what I'm doing is enough.
Yeah.
So like I tried now before a performance, I'll like dedicate the performance in my mind to something bigger than myself, I like to call it my higher power or something, or it could be something that's happening in the world, sending energy to it.
Yeah.
And I just find that takes my nerves away. It reminds me it's not about me. Takes the ego out of it a little bit. Obviously, there's always going to be a little bit of ego in there, but
that's true.
Because I want to do well. I want to play well for you, but
and you want to hear that you did well.
That's right. So,
were you always spiritually inclined?
That's a great question. Yes, but my personal relationship with something bigger than myself came much later. I'm also in a 12-step program. I've been in a 12-step program for 11 years.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned how to have a personal relationship instead of like somebody telling me what being spiritual is. Yeah. I got to figure it out for myself using guideline, not even guideline, just like suggestions. Like this might help. And that helps me because if you're telling me what to do, guess what?
Not gonna do it.
And just automatically something's like, no, I don't think so.
Like this pressure.
Yeah.
It's pressure.
Or it just feels like
it's not from you.
If you're pushing, that's not God. Like it's, I couldn't have articulated that back then, but that's what it is to me. If there's like if there's haste, if there's pushiness, if there feels like there's fear behind it, I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah. It's got to feel easy. Yeah.
I think all of us have that that like inner sensibility, that intuition of what's right and what's wrong and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And I don't think we're socialized to really listen to it. So when we finally start listening to it, we're like, you know what? I can say no to things, or I can say this doesn't feel right. And, I can pull back a little or maybe lean in a little depending on what the thing is.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard though.
Yeah.
It's like and that's the other thing, I think, for me, especially these days, to remember that there's always going to be like this spiral to it. There's going to be days where I feel connected to this thing and I feel centered and I feel like I'm on the path. And there's going to be days when I have no idea what I'm doing. I just have to trust that I'm on the path. Yeah. Because I felt it before. Yeah. And, we're human. We're not going to feel it every day.
That's true. There are days where you're like,
it's so hard to remember.
Where did the path go? Like, where did all this...
Did I imagine the path?
Did I imagine it? Because, I don't know, like, all these weeds and all these other things that are, like, growing
here. Gotta clear it out. Sometimes you gotta take some time and clear the weeds out. Yeah.
But I think that's what's so great about the topic that we have today, transitions. I feel like that is what transitions are about. It's about clearing things out and being in a state, not even of limbo. I think it's just more of a state of uncertainty.
Oh. That's worst. Tazeen, it's the worst. That's so true, though. Yeah. You nailed it. You really did. I have a mentor in my life who calls it burning in the fire. when you feel like in between and you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you have to feel the feelings instead of talk about the feelings. She calls it burning in the fire. I think it's something, she's a big yogi. So, but it means you're burning away things that don't matter until you are finally down to like the thing that matters. And it's not comfortable. Yeah. It's not easy. That's where I am right now.
In Arabic, it has to burn something is to purify something. Oh. Like you do with gold or with any jewels. You have to burn away those impurities to get that beautiful gem at the end.
I love that. Yeah. Yep.
But no one likes the process.
It sucks.
There was Christina, who was on last week, just posted a meme on her Instagram. And it was of a flower. It was 2 images next to each other. And the top image was a flower getting poured on, saying, I don't like this. And in the second one, it was like sunny and the flower had bloomed. And I was like, maybe I needed it.
Oh, yeah. No grit, no pearl. I hear that too. Yeah. Or the mud and the lotus. No mud, no lotus.
That's the truth, though.
It is. I don't like it, but it's true. Do you think that you can learn through joy, though, and like easy things? Or, not easy, but like...
No. Because
you don't.
I think... Here's what I think. I think, of course, you can learn through joy, but I think you have to go through turbulent times to really have a sense of gratitude when those joyous moments come about. Because if life was just happy and all sunshine and flowers, would we really be grateful for it?
I guess we
don't really know.
We don't know.
But
probably not.
My assumption is maybe not. Maybe we wouldn't really question it because you just think that that's the way things are. I look at it the same way as I might look at people who feel like they're really entitled. Like if you always had things, you'll feel like you were entitled to it. So maybe you're not as grateful for those things and you just expect to have those things. But I think when you just know that good and bad things happen to good and bad people. Like, it just happens to everybody. So when good things do happen, there's more of a sense of gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally get behind that. Gratitude is the medicine of the world, And you're right. If you don't suffer, your well for gratitude perhaps isn't as deep, is it?
True. That's what I think.
Darn it.
I know, but nobody likes that.
No.
You guys can share your thoughts, too. What do you think? What do you think about this? I mean, gratitude is for sure probably one of the best sort of things to focus on when you are dealing with a transitional phase in your life. And I would say, like a time where you feel really anxious or depressed or upset. Gratitude, I think, is the cure to that. Not that it's gonna make your situation change necessarily, but your perception of that situation will change.
I think that's true. But also...
Here it comes.
Let's see. I hope I don't lose my thought. Because, okay, so I am in a transitional phase. Yeah. And I do try to focus on gratitude. I list things I'm grateful for literally all day long. I make myself do it. Especially if I'm like bitching in the car or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. But there's this other side. I keep getting this message of you have to feel your feelings. You have to feel your feelings. You can't think your way out of your feelings. You just have to be with it. And so I'm trying to figure out, does that mean that when I'm feeling shitty, does that mean I can I say that?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm not censoring you.
Okay. I hope not, because I just did it. I'm kind of confused about that for myself. This is something I'm wading through. Because I've had a lot of moments lately where it's like unbearable pain in this shift that I'm going through. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, so if I'm listing what I'm grateful, okay, list what you're grateful for. Yeah. Am I trying to avoid the pain? Is that okay to try to avoid it? Am I not going to move through the pain until I just sit with it? And what does that mean?
True.
What does sitting with it mean?
What does sitting with it mean? That's a good question. Because I think part of being human and the beauty of being human is that we do have these range of emotions, and we can't have one without the other. Like you have to you have to experience both, because if you shut yourself off, I think if we shut ourselves off to that pain, we end up numbing ourselves. And if we numb ourselves, it's going to be hard to feel joy. So it's this almost catch-22. Simrina said, I think if we focus on what we have and not what we don't, will really help with dealing with hardships. I think sometimes you have to let the pain envelop you so that you can come out on the other side.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
And then you have to ask, too, how long is it okay to sit in pain? You know, like we also have to function in the world. We have to get in the car, go to work. We have to answer emails, which is I'm struggling with that right now.
It's like, what do you call it?
How do we be in the world?
Functional depression?
Yes. It can be. Yeah. Yeah.
That is what it ends up being.
Yeah.
I don't know why this stopped. It should be okay. Yeah, functional depression. I mean, you're right in that we have to let that pain envelop us, and sort of so that we feel it and we acknowledge it and we accept that is what we're feeling and that it's valid. And then I think the next step is, can we do anything to change our situation? And maybe maybe the answer might be, I got to sit with this for a little bit, or I just need to wait for time to heal this situation. I think it depends on the situation. But being in pain shouldn't handicap us. I think we have to draw a line. And then she said, accept.
I love that. Yes, I agree with that it shouldn't handicap us. So if it's getting to a point where it's too painful, then maybe that is time to make the gratitude list and move through the day, feel a little at a time. Maybe that's okay. You feel a little bit at a time and get through it that way. I love how you always go to the action piece, though. When we spoke on the 52 Portrait Project, you also you made a light bulb go off in my mind when you were like, we also have to act. We can't just ask God or whatever and then not take action. There's got to be an action piece to it. Those weren't her exact words, but it was something
that was the gist
that. She
of
was
it.
much more eloquent than that.
That was the gist of it.
But
because, I mean,
it's so important to remember that. We can get trapped in our feelings and I can tend to get paralyzed sometimes by my just not knowing what to do next because I'm trapped in the feelings, you know? So it's good to remember, don't get handicapped by your feelings and move through them. Yeah.
Don't get handicapped by them. Don't be passive. Don't live your life passively. Like things are just happening to you. Because what I've learned is that even while you're in pain, that's the beautiful thing about art, is you can do something. You can create something. That's why creating music and poetry and paint and dance and all of these different types of art forms is such a therapeutic activity, because at that point you can do something. You can acknowledge that I feel hurt, I feel uncertain, I feel whatever it is that you're feeling, but this is what I can do with it right now.
Yes, that's very important. That's another way of moving into from your mind to your body too. Art can help me do that. You know, if I sing a song, I have to be in the moment. There's no other way to sing a song. You have to be in the moment singing the song. So it helps bring me from the hamster wheel that can be happening here down into my body. Photography does that. You're right. Yeah, having projects like that I have to keep doing and that I love it's so important. It's definitely another kind of medicine for the transitional moment.
I have a question in my head, but I'm going to keep it. I think that if we accept pain, it's part of life, then if we accept pain is part of life, it's easier to accept. You have to have an outlet.
Yes.
My question to you was, you sparked a thought in my head. Do you feel like you're in your head a lot and you have to tell yourself to not be in your head?
Yes. Yes, I do.
We're digging deeper. That's what this is about.
I love it. Yes, and I see the irony there, because if I'm then I'm still in my head. If I'm telling myself to
not
be in my head, guess what, Misty? Yeah. But it's good. I think the thing that's positive in all of this is that I'm aware of all of it. Mm-hmm. So I do have this part of myself that's kind of sitting up here going,
observing it.
You got it. You'll figure it out.
That's the beautiful thing about performance, though, is that you can get lost in it. There are those moments where you feel like...
The flow moments. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
And the energy you feed off of from, like, bandmates and from audience members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find that it's... I don't know if we've talked about this before, but being a musician has never come easily to me. So my flow state comes more with my photography than music. I have moments of flow with music, but they're usually when I'm writing or if I'm playing solo. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm too much of a ringleader, and I can't center and feel. I mean, unless if it's like a really listening oriented show, like at the Arc or something, I find that I really do enjoy that once I'm on stage. Yeah. But like, there's so much more that comes with the show than just getting on stage and playing. It's also promotion and, all the stuff you do before the show.
All the anxiety before as you're prepping for it.
Yeah, I really struggle with it. So it kind of colors the whole thing for me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I remember. Yeah. I don't remember the beautiful moments I have on stage a lot of the time.
What?
It's true. And I'm talking about my own band, Misty Lyn the Big Beautiful, but when I'm singing with Matt Jones in the Reconstruction, I don't have all those responsibilities. I get to show up and sing, and that is beautiful to me. Yeah. Absolutely. All I have to do is show up and do my job. I don't have to make sure everyone else is doing their job. So
I understand that completely. Yeah. Because I've been performing with my husband's band, and it's nice because I feel like I'm not the center of attention, even though if you go to our performance, it looks like I'm the center of attention just because it's all men and I'm sort of the woman who's in the middle. And I'm the only one who's got vocals. But I never feel like it's revolving around me. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I can actually let loose and have that flow. Mm-hmm. But when I do my own songs, like we have a gig that's coming up and I have an hour set and it's my stuff.
Oh man.
And I'm, like figuring out what are we going to do and how do I want to do it and what progression are we going to do and what tempo and what order and all. And then focusing on myself, that is stressful. And it's hard. It's a lot harder.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you can enjoy it in retrospect. I shouldn't say you. I can enjoy it in retrospect. Like I'll have, it's like a whirlwind, and then it stops, and then I look back and I go, "Oh, that was nice."
I
okay.
It went okay.
It turned out
it wasn't so bad.
People seem to have liked that. Yeah.
Serena said, "Don't overthink. Let go." Alia said, "I miss you, Mrs. Ayub." Aww. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Wow, I feel the same for teaching in my class. Wow, it's funny how diverse our outlets can be. Yeah, because teaching is that's true, that's your outlet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And teaching is a performance too.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Daily.
It's absolutely a performance.
Maybe it's cool that it's daily though, because then you can kind of lose yourself in it. Whereas music performances can come so sporadically that it becomes more of a thing because you're not doing it every day.
She said yes in cap locks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that sometimes when I'm going to class, because every day, like sit in my office, relax for a little bit, breathe, pack up my things, walk to class, and as I'm walking to class, I say a little prayer. I say, it's going to be okay.
Every day? Every day?
Every day. Every day. Because the thing that's so stressful about teaching, as enjoyable as it is you are holding the space for these young people who are finding themselves and are here to learn something, presumably here to learn something. And you want to fulfill that. You want it to be a space where they love to learn, and they're enjoying that space, and they want to come back, and they're asking questions, and they're thinking critically. But that's tough. I mean, it's much easier to be a crappy teacher, really. It's much easier.
We've all experienced
it, you know?
Yes.
She said, especially with the little ones. Yep. Yeah, because she teaches little kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you do that. I don't have the patience.
My little sister is a kindergarten teacher.
Cow.
She loves it.
You've got to also really love kids. And I love adults.
I totally get that. Samesies.
I also love sarcasm.
Oh, and they don't get it.
And
Kids
don't get it. But I can be sarcastic with my students. I can call them out and not worry about them crying, you know?
Yeah. I love what you said about holding space, though. I interviewed a woman named May Earlywine. She's a local musician. And she was describing how she has to hold... We were talking about in the political climate that we're in, she feels like she has to use her platform to vocalize what she thinks is terribly wrong in our country, which is, that's a big decision to make.
A lot of stuff.
And right. But she was saying that she'll be in a place where she'll speak out about gun control or something like that, and she'll feel like she has to hold the space, the energy of the whole room, and continue a show and try to make it enjoyable for people who may have disagreed with what she had just said. And she's like, it's a lot. I have to sit there and hold this space. And I just love that terminology, because it describes something that's kind of indescribable. As a performer, you are holding space for everybody in the room, your bandmates, all of it. If you're the focal point, you're like the fulcrum that everything is kind of balancing on, and you can't let yourself get too worked up about anything, one way or the other. Yeah.
The way you react to people, the way you talk. In class, and also with hosting open mics, I feel like I have to be very conscious about what tone am I speaking in.
Oh, yes.
What words am I using? What things am I highlighting versus what am I downplaying? To balance that space.
Do you find that having to do that every day in class helps you do it in your personal life better? Is it like a microcosm? No. Yeah, because more feelings are involved when you're
No, you can ask my husband if something I'm I'm just I think that's honorable that you can use the platform God has given you to make a change. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. It's powerful and brave.
It is. Very brave. But to learn from it and implement it in your own life, now that's something else.
I also think it matters where you come from when you're doing it. If you're coming from... It comes back to what we were talking about earlier about religion and like kind of forcing that on people. If you're coming from a space where you're trying to tell somebody that they're wrong or persuade somebody's decision about how they're living, it's never going to serve any purpose, I don't think. But if you're coming from love, can you come from love when you're doing it? Because that's the most powerful thing. No matter what the outcome is, if you're coming from love, then something good has happened. Yeah. So it's just something to keep in mind, I find, when I'm coming from anger, or if I'm like really, if I feel really emotionally engaged with something, that is not the right time for me to try to talk about it. Say if it was gun control or something like that. If something had just happened and I'm still emotional about it, I can't come from love, because I'm still pissed off. I'm still and sad and heartbroken about it. Yeah. I found that happened after the last presidential election. Like, I was really heartbroken over that, and it surprised me, and I didn't really realize what was happening because it was so surprising to me that it broke my heart. It's like really weird. Like, really, the president broke my heart? It's kind of weird, but it really did. And so my responses to people on the other side of that fence were not what I would do now. My responses were not what I would hope to do. In retrospect, I see that I should have waited until I didn't feel so strongly, in my heart about it, or I had to move through the feelings again.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
It's hard because in certain things, like, I have like this strong belief, like, this is absolutely wrong. And it's like, why can't you see that this is absolutely wrong? And that's what's frustrating is you want to come with love and you want to treat people respectfully. And this is like, as a person of color, it's frustrating because you want to have that way of thinking, like come at everybody with love. But then when you realize that people don't see you as human, or people will never love you, that's when it gets frustrating, because you're just like, man, I have to always be the bigger person. And it's like, oh, sometimes
exhausting,
it just sucks. Yeah. Like, I just want to tell you that you suck. Like, you know.
But that's going to reinforce what they think about you.
Exactly.
I can't,
So it's this cycle. As our grandma says, sweet tongue can rule the world.
I think it's true on some level. I think maybe sometimes we really want to see immediate results from the love. When you come from love, you want to see the same reaction that you'd get when you come from like anger, because you get that immediate reaction with anger. When you come from love, it might take a month, it might take a year, it might take 8 things happening in that person's life before they come back to what you said in love, for that light bulb to go on. And your motivation can never be that you want that to happen in that person. You just have to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Here we go.
The kitty's here.
No, you don't want to come up here? Okay. The expectation. I think we talked about this too when you had interviewed me, about expectations. Limiting.
Dangerous.
Yeah, expectations can be very dangerous because you never know what's going to happen. You don't have control. Especially when it comes to people's reactions.
That's the truth. When it comes to most things other than yourself. Yeah. And the Bhagavad Gita says that, right? Let go of the fruit of your actions. Do your duty and let go of the fruit of your actions. Which I love so much. I come back to that so often.
But I wanted such a sweet fruit.
Yes. And it might come later after you're gone. So you never know. You know what I mean?
It might never come in your lifetime. You might never experience it.
Yeah, man.
You might never experience it. But that's the test. Being nice to those who are nice is easy. But being nice to those who oppose and are harsh is the test.
It's so true.
Afaf said being aware of the emotions first is crucial. And to not jump too high on the emotional scale. This is great. Thumbs up.
Yeah, try not to jump too high on the emotional scale.
Yeah.
That's hard. But sometimes if you're passionate, it's really hard. Especially when you're dealing with like really strong like familial connections. I find that I struggle the most there. Yeah. Especially with something like politics. And especially when I feel so self-righteous. I feel so righteous. Yeah. I am right. I'm right.
Obviously.
Yeah. So when you get the like family politics involved with the other kind of politics, it's dangerous territory. It's hard to not let your emotions get, flare up.
It is. That self-righteous feeling though. That can just...
Ooh. It's ugly.
Little seed in your heart.
It's ugly.
And it just grows. I know that.
It's a weed. Really.
I know that, yeah. What helps with that?
With self-righteousness? Oh, you have to be humbled, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
It has to hurt in some way eventually. It has to bite you. And it does. I find for myself that if I get self-righteous, even if it's just me thinking about what I did later and then feeling in my heart like just that awful heaviness, that guilt, like, that's not who I am. I didn't want to act like, I don't even really think, I know I can come at that a better way, or it's going to get you. And then you just get a little seed of humility. And then next time, hopefully, it'll give you a little bit more space between your thought and your action.
That was beautifully put.
That's the ideal.
And I think having good company will help in that. People who are honest. Like if you have an honest relationship with someone, and not in a sense of, I'm going to be so blunt that it's mean. More like, we want to grow together.
It took me a long time to learn that, too, that part. I used to call myself brutally honest back when I was younger.
Me too.
You know, I'm a smart ass. I'm brutally honest.
I'm just blunt.
And then the
You
more
just
I
can't
grew,
handle it.
Yeah, right. Now I know I'm just
then you
an
tone
asshole.
it down. You don't need to do that.
No, it's not, again, coming from love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's coming from some pain inside of me.
It is.
If I'm being sarcastic. That's like some childhood stuff. Like that's not what I know that I don't want to come from that kind of, because it means in Greek, sarcasm means to tear. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
So as soon as I read that line, I'm just like, ew. To tear flesh or something like that, it means. So
yeah,
that can't be good.
That's true. When I look back at my childhood and the ways that I would act in terms of being sarcastic and really coming off as cold and mean, it really came from a place of insecurity.
Yes.
And it's just a way to mask that insecurity.
Or fear.
For
me, it's fear a lot of the time, which is kind of that fear and insecurity go together for me. Yeah. Or just old wounds coming through, you know? I'm putting something that happened to me before onto the person I'm dealing with now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes time. It takes time to learn how those things affect the way that we treat people in our present day lives.
Patterns have to emerge.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That is true. We got a lot of comments. I love this.
Thanks for commenting.
Here. Oh, sorry, I said that wrong. Your emotions are good, but not denying them. It's not good. Recognize where we are as creations, how God has created things that are so much bigger than us. Example, the universe. I think it's emotional maturity as we grow older, get older and wiser.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Emotional maturity.
Yeah, emotional maturity, being able to understand your emotions, understand where your reactions are coming from. Because I think as you grow older, hopefully, you know, we are smacked in the face with certain situations in our life that really make us step back and say, wait a second, what am I doing? Where am I going? Where is this? What path am I on?
I just had a thought and it just skittered away. Yes.
Emotional maturity.
Emotional maturity. That was, what was I thinking? It'll come back.
And even realizing that we are not the center of the universe. Ha ha ha.
Yes. Oh, you know, this is what I was going to say. I think it's also really important, that moment, if it ever comes, where we realize that what we say and do is important and does matter in these situations. I think my sarcasm often came from a place of not thinking what I did mattered anyway. So screw it.
Yeah.
I was just kind of coming from a place, again, of insecurity or something, you know, or unworthiness. And so what I say doesn't matter anyway. So I'm going to be mean. I'm going to, you know, be blunt.
Yeah.
Whereas now that I understand that I have choices, that I matter, that what, you know, my words have an effect on the world, and it's my choice whether or not it's positive or negative.
Yeah.
Or from love or fear, that really is my choice. That helps a lot when it comes to responding. And it also helps with self-righteousness.
That's true. Because whatever we say, whatever we do, we're putting out some sort of energy into the world. There's this constant give and take. We're constantly taking and we're constantly giving.
Yeah.
And putting out.
It sounds so simple, but it's if I forget it, and those are the moments I forget myself. And I'll do things that I wish I hadn't done, or, you know, later I'll be thinking, I could have been more loving in that situation. I could have done better.
That's true. I think about that. I think sometimes, you know, like if you're with friends or if you're in a gathering, you're really riled up about something someone did, or you're complaining about something, and everyone sort of riles each other up, you know, and then you go home from that gathering and you feel, well, what did I benefit from that? And it makes you more conscious. But it's just a matter of, are we thinking about that?
Yeah.
Had a wonderful conversation, ladies. Thank you. Amazing discussion. Loved it. Have to run. Bye.
Thanks for joining.
So how has, you've been going through a lot of transitions right now. Mm-hmm. How has that been for you, and how has it affected your music making and your finding your flow?
Well, honestly, there's been zero flow. I had to move, so that was like an all-encompassing, life-altering survival mode thing. So I'm kind of still in the aftermath of that a little bit. So August was kind of shot for creativity. Yeah, it's funny too. I had a couple of shows that I had to do, and I was not in the headspace for them, Yeah. But after I had done them, I was so grateful that I had that. Again, it put me in the moment. It took me out of my head and out of like the craziness of my situation. Yeah. So art saves me, whether, like I'll go kicking and screaming into these opportunities that I have, or even doing this, like this is wonderful. It helps me center myself. I feel like I'm remembering myself when I allow myself to take time to do what I love, even though I can't remember that I love it. Yeah. Music especially. Yeah. Like I'll forget because it is really stressful. There's a lot of intricate things that go into a show, including the many scheduled rehearsals beforehand, and dealing with multiple people constantly. Yeah. And so, but then when I'm finally there, I did have a moment. I just played this little place called Cultivate in Ypsilanti, which I love. I love that place. It really is wonderful. The owners are wonderful. And I'm standing on stage, and honestly, it's like a wave of love. Yeah. Will hit me sometimes if I'm around my people, like the people that know me and know my music, and I can feel that they need it as much as I need to be there. Whew, what a blessing. Yeah. So that's been great. But as for writing, and I mean, that's not true. I have little snippets on my voice, my little voice recorder thing. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not completely gone. It's just, again, I have to be patient and understand that it's a spiral, it's a wave. It's not always going to be this like this beautiful like high level of creativity coming out. It's just going to be peaks and valleys. But with photography, I've been staying busy with that too, and the project is such a blessing because even when I'm not working in like with a person, I'm still editing, and so I'm hearing the wise words of these women that I've been interviewing, and it's been amazing because like I'll be editing a podcast and listening to the words of the woman, and that will hit me at exactly the time I need to hear it, like because I forget what we said, and then I'll be re-listening, and it'll just be like exactly what I needed to hear right then. So my creative outlets save me in really surprising ways over and over, So
that's really beautiful how that happens.
It really is. Yeah. It's just like, oh, there it is, It is. There's that thing that's bigger than me.
You forget, too. I feel like we have great conversations with people, or like, you're doing the 52 Portraits project, and I've got Digging Deeper, and you have these conversations with people that really are impactful, but we're human, so it's not like we can constantly remember that at all times. So
that's why we need each other.
We need each other, and it's nice to go back, and that's one of the reasons I love this is we have a record of these conversations. We can always go back and say, oh my God, that's what I was thinking at that time, or that like maybe something hit you in a certain way right now, but it's going to hit me differently tomorrow when I listen to it.
That's right. Yep, that's the beauty of it.
But we constantly have to put ourselves in that space.
Yep. And that's the other thing I was thinking today, because I haven't been able to go. I said I was in a 12-step group, and I haven't been able to go to a meeting in a long time because of how crazy my life's been. Yeah. And so that's kind of my centering space. And I've also been kind of feeling like I need something else, something more or different in addition to that. And I just remembered today, like the words came to me, like you just have to be willing, and the answers will come. And I am. Yeah. I have to be okay that I'm sitting in the unknown. I don't have the answer today, and it's okay because I know that I really am willing to do the work if it's shown to me. Like I feel like I'm screaming in my head, like, what is the work? Give me the work. I'm going to do it. Yeah. And the answer is not right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now, or maybe the answer is it'll come to you. Maybe the answer is just open your eyes a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe the answer is the work is what you're doing.
Maybe that's, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. I have a dog right now. This is the perfect time to bring in my puppy. He is, I call him my guru because it is like all consuming to have a small dog to keep alive. And he's high energy. Not crazy. He's a great dog, but I find that this old rage comes up in me with him. Like, I find myself yelling at him, and I'm like, I thought I got through that stuff. So he's like pulling this stuff out of me, you know? So he's like, I don't know. I forget why I brought it up. What were we talking about? There was a reason.
We were talking about seeing things, the work.
Oh, maybe the thing you're doing is your job.
Yeah.
So today I've been taking him to the dog park every day because he has to run every day, and I'll find myself thinking like, why did I want a dog? Like, what should I be doing? What could I be doing right now? And then it'll come to, the words will come to me like, maybe this is your job right now. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Because, when I got the dog, it felt really, I always wait for things. Like, I don't like to be hasty or pushy or force my will. Yeah. And it came so naturally when I got him, and it felt right. And so it's not like I was like, I want a dog, but no. So I'm like, I really trust that I'm supposed to have him. It's so funny where we get our lessons, though. He's teaching me. Like,
there's lessons in everything. I'm taking a poetry class right now.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. And it's been really great because it's been a while since I focused on writing poetry as opposed to writing songs. And the process is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And so I've been keeping my notebook with me at all times and just writing. And the last poem that I wrote is called 3 Children and a Red Wagon. And it's about Ismail and I, we took his son and my sister out to brunch the other day at Folk on Trumbull. And there's a condo, like apartment complex that's right across from it. And we were sitting right by the window, and Ismail was like, oh, look over there. And we turn around, and there's these 3 kids playing with this red wagon. And one kid runs up, like 2 kids run up, or all 3 of them run up. 1 kid jumps into the wagon. 1 is pulling the wagon while the one sitting in it is like screaming like super joyously. And then the 3rd one's just cheering them on. And then they get to the bottom. It's like only a 3-second ride. They get to the bottom of the hill, and they switch, and they do the whole thing over again. And I wrote this poem about how there's a lesson in the innocence of these children and how happy they are and how carefree they are. And sometimes we get so caught up in what we should be doing and what is the work and what is my purpose and whatnot. And maybe the wagon is right in front of us, and we're just not sitting in it. We're just not playing with it.
Or we are, but we want more than what's right in front of us.
Exactly.
We get stuck in the.
But just
this can't be it. This can't be it.
These little lessons that we can learn from animals, from children, from nature, from just what's around us. Yeah. Literally everything.
It's true. Puppies.
That's why I love Aubree. I love Aubree so much. My cat.
I also have a cat. She's my soulmate.
That's how I feel about Aubree. I feel like I look at her and I just remember just how fragile creation is.
Yeah.
And how beautiful it is. And like, even though we're human and we think we're superior and we have forethought, really we're the same. Like, we want love, we want affection, we want to eat and drink and sleep and be satiated and like play. Like those emotions are the same emotions.
I know it.
We just complicate.
So true,
humans just complicate it.
It's so true. I know. Little reminders of love, though. Yeah. Little animals. Yeah.
We're just like, I want love, but I want it this way. Or
Yeah,
I want this,
exactly. This is what success looks like. This is what my work looks like.
Yeah. How do you deal with that? Like, thinking about what success looks like while you're transitioning from something to something?
Honestly, I feel like success today, my friend Matt told me once, like he was going through a really rough patch a few years ago, and he said, every day I wake up and I have a tiny dream, and that is to get out of bed and go put my pants on and mow the lawn. And so that sticks in my head, like the tiny dream. Like, I just have a tiny dream, Tazeen. In this transitional time, like, I can't have any more than that. What's in front of me? Like, literally, I want to get up in the morning. I love breakfast and coffee. I'm going to take my dog for a walk. I'm going to do what's on the roster for work, some editing. And that's it. That's successful today. You know? Yeah. If I look any farther than that, I can't, I don't have any control over that right now. Yeah. Like, I really don't. And so looking at it just stresses me out.
That is stressful. Mm-hmm. We have, I have summers off. That's the benefit of being a teacher.
Yes.
And my coworkers and I.
I was almost a teacher just for that. I had to stop myself.
It's stressful. It's a high stress job because you're dealing with so many people. And if you're introverted like me, it's like social interactions all the time can be really stressful. But yeah, my colleagues and I always text each other and joke around in the summer that I only have one goal today. Each day we'll text each other and be like, my goal today was to take out the trash.
Yes. That's it.
Tiny dreams. That's it. And I did it. My goal today was just to move the couch from here to here.
Yeah. Yeah. I have this little dry erase board on my fridge, and I literally, that's what I'm doing these days, is I put lists like take the garbage out, go grocery shopping, do this, like really simple things like that, and then I get to erase them when I'm done.
And it's the best.
Feels so good. And then I realize what I did with my day. People will ask me, what did you do? And I can't remember.
Yeah.
Because it's all these little things, you know, but then I can look at this thing and go, oh, yes, okay, I did do something today. Success.
You did a lot. I answered 5 emails.
That's a lot.
I talked to 2 students.
Yep.
I made copies of stuff.
Yep. And then I don't even include, like, you know, spiritual practice takes time. And so when people ask me what I do, like, I really will blank. And then I remember later, like, I call myself a seeker, but that takes time. Like, I read, I meditate, I pray, I go to these meetings, I gather with people that are like-minded. And that's time consuming. That is part of what I do. It's a big chunk of my time.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll forget. And then so I feel like I'm not doing anything. That's actually the most important thing.
Work.
It's so important. It's the most important thing. If I'm not doing that, nothing else kind of falls into place. It feels I lose my center. I forget myself. Yeah.
Do you have any last minute thoughts?
I do feel like I should say that I know that I'm taken care of, and that in this time of transition, it's important for me to say that out loud, because it's like a lot of what I say is the problems I'm having.
Yeah.
But I know in my heart, I really do know. I can't feel it all the time, but I know that I'm taken care of and that I'm on, you know, the next right thing is going to happen. So.
Having that trust.
Tummy growled.
Your stomach's like, I agree.
It's like, it must be an hour.
I agree. With that, we will be right back. So we're back, and Misty's going to perform a little something for us.
In front of this beautiful art.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Malika Arts. Please look her up. We have a new piece. Let me look up just so you can. There you go. You guys see it?
You can't really see the beautiful colors in it.
The gold writing with the blue and the...
There's like a peachiness or yellowy.
Yeah.
It's so pretty up here. Yep.
I just love it.
Perfect. Yay. All right. I guess I'll send you home. You're probably at home. Send you off with a song from my first record. It's the one I kind of fall back on when I'm in a phase where I can't rehearse a lot and I can't really center myself. This song centers me, and it's just in my blood. Doesn't mean I haven't forgotten it sometimes when I'm playing it, because I do sometimes, but this song is about transitions, and I wrote it when I was going through a really rough time many years ago, when my parents were getting divorced. My childhood home was falling apart. My best friend and I had a falling out. I moved out of the state and it didn't work out. It was a lot of tumultuous stuff. And this is the song that came out of it. And it's kind of cathartic for me now to see that things do get better, because I did come through that. And my life is pretty darn good. It's called The Fall. Taste the metal in the gaping wound that is this house, where the weeds grow round the signpost, since the day they pounded in the ground. For the fall, the harvest in, my feet are off, and Lord, would you hold my hand? My knees are gone, I cannot stand. Left dying in the gravel and the side and curling in the wind, as if it wasn't clear enough. The sun beats down and lights the broken lines within. When you start believing that the things that once existed can begin again, then all you know goes up for sale. You finally learn that things will always end and end. It's time for the fall, the harvest in, my feet are off, and Lord, would you hold my hand? My knees are gone, I cannot stand. It's time for the fall.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. You have such a soothing voice.
Thanks, Tazeen. I'm a little hoarse, so that's nice to hear.
No, such a soothing voice, and I love the way you describe the house.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
your comment. So, so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Very true.
Thank you very much.
With that, that's the end of our episode. Thank you so much, Misty, for being here.
Thank you for having me, Tazeen.
I really
what an honor.
Appreciate it. And please check out her stuff. I'm going to ask you for like little bio in any of your sites or anything, and then I'll post it so people can look you up.
Yeah.
So please look her up and support. And with that,
and check out Tazeen's interview on the 52 Portrait Project.
Oh yeah,
it is really one of my favorites. I connected so much with what she had to say.
You did such a good job with that too.
Oh, thank you.
I really get like camera shy, even though we're in front of a camera, but in terms of like photos.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Yay.
Well, with that, have a wonderful rest of your evening and rest of your week, and we'll see you guys next week, next Tuesday, same time.